Legendary battles between gods and giants. Echoes of the past. A battle between gods and giants. In our modern era, we've all grown accustomed to tales spun from imagination where gods clash with trolls or frost giants wielding mighty weapons and causing widespread destruction. Yet many forget that this sort of storytelling is not a product of our own time. In fact, stories about gods and giants doing battle have been told for thousands of years, and many of these myths come from cultures across the globe that had no knowledge of one another. It seems that tales of divine beings warring against giants who threaten the very foundations of society are a common thread in the human experience. Long before mankind waged war, the gods did. Across ancient myths, titanic battles were fought not for power alone, but to shape existence itself. From the darkest pits of hell to the highest peaks of Olympus, primordial deities clashed in a war that would echo throughout time. So join us today as we explore 5 of the most legendary battles between gods and giants. Number 5, the Titanomachy. Let's start our countdown with the Greek Titanomachy, a war that laid the foundation for Western civilization. The Titans were a race of gods existing before the Olympian pantheon. Led by Cronus, they were powerful, having seized control from their predecessors, the primordials. Cronus, in a bid to prevent a power struggle like the one he faced, swallowed his children as they were born. But his wife Rhea saved their youngest son Zeus by tricking him into drinking a concoction that forced Cronus to disgorge his children. With his siblings whole once more, Zeus led a rebellion against his father and the Titans. The Olympians had superior numbers, but the Titans, being older and wiser, were more experienced in battle. For years, neither side could claim victory. Then Zeus hatched a plan. He lured the Titans into Tartarus, the darkest depths of hell, by promising them nectar and ambrosia. Ambrosia that turned out to be a trick, binding them forever in chains. Only Atlas was spared, condemned only to hold up the sky for eternity. Zeus then unleashed the 5-headed monster Typhon, a creature of chaos, to punish the Titans for their hubris. But even Typhon was slain, torn apart by Zeus's lightning bolts. With their greatest champions defeated, the rest of the Titans surrendered. Zeus reorganized the cosmos, banishing the unruly Titans to Tartarus and crowning himself king of the new order. This war was more than just a power grab. It was a complete restructuring of the universe, an overthrowing of the old to make way for the new. Number 4, Ragnarok. From Greece, let's turn to Norse mythology and the tale of Ragnarok, the doom of the gods. In this tradition, the end of the world is not a quiet end, but a violent, cataclysmic event foretold by prophecy. The sons of the All-Father Odin, Thor, and Balder are fated to die, ushering in an age of giants and strife. Tyr, the god of wisdom, is devoured by a monstrous wolf. Then Balder, beloved by all, is tricked into a death by his blind brother Hodr, using a dart made of mistletoe. Grief-stricken, the gods gather for a final stand. Loki, the trickster god, breaks his exile and rallies the giants against the gods. A great battle ensues. Heimdall, the watchman of the gods, sounds the death blow on his horn, Gjallarhorn, challenging Loki to single combat. Their blades clash, slaying each other in a final embrace. As predicted, Thor fights the Midgard serpent, Jormungandr, and slays it, but not before being poisoned by its venomous blood. Finally, the great battle reaches its climax at Vigrid, where the surviving gods face off against the giants. The gods suffer heavy losses. Frey, god of fertility, falls in battle, as does Vidar, son of Odin, who avenges his father by slaying the giant serpent Nidhogg. However, it is said that only 3, Odin, Thor, and his son Modi, survive Ragnarok. Though the world ends, life begins anew. From the ashes of the old world, the 2 brothers, Odin and Vidar, rebuild Asgard, setting the stage for a new generation of gods. 3. The War of the Devas and Asuras. Now let's traverse to ancient India and explore the epic battle between the Devas and Asuras. In Hindu mythology, the conflict between these two factions was not merely a physical confrontation, but a war of cosmic principles. The Devas represent the forces of light and order, while the Asuras symbolize darkness and chaos. The leader of the Asuras, Madhu, was a great devotee of the Supreme Being, but his austerities were tainted by pride. When he refused to relinquish his arrogance even after Brahma, the creator god, warned him, Brahma cursed Madhu, dooming him to become prey to the very weapon he had sought to create. Despite the curse, Madhu gathered his forces and attacked the celestial city of the Devas. Deva, Vishnu, moved by the Asura's devotion and prowess, intervenes. He takes the form of a dwarf named Vamana and challenges Madhu and his brother Kaitaba to a battle. Vamana grew to colossal proportions, assuming the form of a giant. The Asuras, astounded by his growth, attempted to slay the giant with their weapons, but their attacks proved ineffective. Vamana, now revealed as the god Vishnu, reclaimed his stolen land and restored order to the cosmos. In Hindu mythology, the war between the Devas and the Asuras is a recurring theme. It reflects the eternal struggle between good and evil, order and chaos, and highlights the importance of humility in the face of higher truths. The Battle of Horus and Set. Our next stop takes us to ancient Egypt and the legendary conflict between Horus and Set, a battle that had profound implications not just for the gods, but for humanity as well. Horus, the sky god, and Set, the god of chaos, were locked in a bitter struggle for the throne of Egypt. Set, driven by his insatiable lust for power and dominion over the Red Land of Egypt, usurped the throne from Horus's father Osiris. This act plunged the world into a state of chaos and disorder, which continued until Horus reclaimed his rightful place as king. The struggle between these two gods went beyond a mere battle for supremacy. It was a fight between opposing forces of nature. Horus represented the life-giving Nile River and its annual floods that nourished the land, while Set personified the destructive desert and its scorching winds. The battle took place across Egypt, with the two sides clashing at crucial locations like the city of Byblos. Magic played a significant role, with Set employing sorcery and treachery against his nephew. Eventually, the conflict reached its peak at the city of Heliopolis. There, Horus and Set confronted each other in a battle that shook the foundations of the cosmos. The outcome of this battle was not just important for the Egyptians' religious beliefs, but also for their understanding of the natural world. Set's defeat ushered in an age of Ma'at, representing justice, truth, and cosmic order, with Horus's victory symbolizing the triumph of life over chaos. Number 1. The Enuma Elish. We reach the zenith of our list with the Babylonian creation war, the Enuma Elish, a myth that stands as one of the earliest accounts of creation in human history. The story revolves around the primordial deities Apsu, the sweet-water ocean, and Tiamat, the saltwater abyss. Together they represent the chaotic waters from which all existence would emerge. However, their tranquility was disrupted by the incessant clamor of their children, the gods. To find peace, Apsu and Tiamat devised a plan. Apsu would create 11 gods, the Igigi, to serve as servants to the gods and alleviate their noise. But soon enough, the Igigi too became bothersome, prompting the gods to seek solace in their father, Apsu. Enraged by the complaints, Apsu vowed to annihilate the gods, a decision that deeply troubled his consort, Tiamat. When Tiamat confronted her husband about his murderous intentions, he retaliated by creating a great flood to destroy the gods. However, Tiamat intervened, protecting her children. Soon, the gods grew strong enough to rebel. Led by the valiant Marduk, they confronted their father, Apsu, and his ally, the goddess of wisdom, Ninkasi. In the ensuing battle, Marduk emerged victorious, slaying both Apsu and Ninkasi. But instead of succumbing to anger and hatred, Marduk demonstrated mercy towards the defeated consort, Tiamat. He granted her a noble title, Lady of the Deep, and appointed her as the mother of all living creatures, including humans. The Enuma Elish concludes with Marduk's coronation as king of the gods, marking the establishment of order and civilization in the universe. These ancient tales resonate even in our modern times, reminding us of the timeless themes that have captured the human imagination. We hope you enjoyed this journey through these legendary battles. If you want more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future uploads. Thank you for watching.